quick, just a couple of medical updates, injuries. Devin Lloyd was currently evaluating for a calf. Was cleared, played the first half, tightened up on him in the second at halftime. Went to go in the second half a little bit. It was just too tight, so we made a decision as coaches that to get Ventrell in. Ventrell played well. He was cleared medically to play. But we just felt like as coaches watching him run a little bit that it was just too tight. So played Ventrell, got him going. And we're currently just kind of being able to test Devin and look at it right now to see if he'll be able to go for us this week. And then Quentin Morris as well being evaluated for an abductor deal. His status is a little bit up in the air right now.
You take Devin along with you right now, right?
Yeah, we're still working through that and see if that's going to be the best course of action based on how we get some of these evaluations back today.
Hey, didn't come up last week, but do you expect Brandon Strange to play again this year?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Is there after the 4 games best case?
Yeah, we didn't, that's going to be it's really going to be week to week. Hopefully the bye gets us a little bit of a jump on that so that he doesn't miss as many games. We're hopeful that after that, but it's definitely up in the air. It could be longer than after the bye.
Offensive line struggled a little bit yesterday. How do you get them kind of back to maybe the level they were at in some of the earlier games this season?
Yeah, we knew that they had a good front for sure, and but we definitely did not play our best up front in terms of the level of physicality in the run game, but also in obviously in pass protection. We were just catching a little bit, not throwing our hands and playing stout in some of our pass protection. We were just giving up a little bit too much ground at times. I do think Jonah came in and actually played pretty well. I mean, we didn't have that's going to be the thing. Like, people are going to say, well, that was the one change up, right? But that was actually, he played pretty well. And we need those other guys to continue to step up around him and play a little bit better, right? At the end of the day, we did not play well enough up front. It starts there. And we did not meet our standards of operating up front. We can help them with some chips and stuff like that, but ultimately, I think those guys understand and they know that we didn't meet a standard, and we got to get back to playing the game that we know how. Maybe we got to practice a little bit more pads during the week or something to get these guys hitting blocks better. We're trying to take care of them, especially with some of the short week that we had this past week, but we got to get back to playing physical and moving the line of scrimmage, especially in the run game.
Help did you bring for the 2 tackles in particular comparatively to the previous 5 games?
Yeah, I mean, we had a decent amount of chips on. We still had a lot of chips, and it was more some of the games that when they would stunt. Like when you have a chip there and they stunt and twist and game you, the chip's kind of irrelevant at that point when the end that you're trying to chip goes inside and creates penetration. So I think, we had a lot of chips on. We just also threw the ball a little bit more than we have been in some of the known dropback situations with how the game kind of got in the second half. There were some really good pockets and some well-protected plays, but it was definitely on us a little bit quicker than it has been, and it's really hard to chip inside with the running back. Like, we do teach those guys, if they're ever going through the line of scrimmage on a check down, to always chip color. Like, if there's ever color exposed, that we want to chip that color and put it back on the offensive lineman, specifically the guards. But it's hard to just say, like, 2-jet chip the 3 technique as a runner unless you have a check down that's going through the line of scrimmage. So it's always a balance of how I've been around tackles also that hate chips, that they don't want them because it bothers them knowing that whenever you have like a tight end and a chip alignment, that the end is aware of it, and sometimes they'll use that to their advantage and stun them inside, which did happen a few times yesterday. So it's always finding that balance that you want to try to say, we want to help them, but also we don't want it to become a hindrance in some ways, which it can be.
And as for the run game, obviously the first 4 weeks of the season ran the ball very
Yeah.
well. Looks like teams got the memo. How do you get that run game going, going up against superior defensive lines?
Yeah.
Like the Seahawks. And
Yeah,
Rams?
that's no question. I mean, it's going to be another challenge this week against another really good front. The difference yesterday a little bit was they weren't always committing single high to stop the run. It was still being defended from a shell. And so I think if we would have maybe been able to keep a little bit more, I probably could have ran a little bit more in the second half to keep a little bit more balance. We'd get a good run on a one-back power, and it gets called back because of a illegal formation on the right tackle. So it was like every time you maybe get into a little bit of a flow, it was continuing to go backwards. So, what we're looking at this week is, okay, what we know our identity to be in terms of the runs that we want to prioritize, really repping the heck out of those to make sure that we're giving these guys the confidence to go rep them in the games. But also we've got to be better on our combinations too. Like Seattle does a nice job of, like, if you're running a double team combination, their D-line did a nice job of like only playing into one of those guys that are trying to block you. So the double team is then almost off, and now they have hands on one, and then your double team, the guy that's trying to go up to the backer, well, he's going up, but now that guy that's blocking him is one-on-one again. And so we just did not execute that stuff. So at the end of the day, I think we just got to look at, all right, what is our balance between under center and gun runs, and making sure that we're balanced there, and also prioritizing what we do best, and also make us the defense stop those things. But we got to go execute it better.
Brian Thomas had the full play yesterday, made some great plays, but also the drop and the play over the middle. At this stage, what's your frustration level with just some of the inconsistencies in his game?
I mean, it's no different than some of the inconsistencies in a lot of our guys right now. Is like our good, and some of the good has been really good, and some of the bad just goes to a really bottom floor in some ways. And that's just that's the consistent play that we're looking for from everybody. A part of this thing is trying to not let those dips dip down so low that it's game changing, right? Like, we're all going to make mistakes or have physical errors, cut down on the mental errors, but the dips can't go so low. So I still have confidence. I thought he did some really good things. Obviously, I had the huge touchdown negated by the penalty. He knows he's got to make that play on the third down, and we got to make sure that we're continuing to put him in a position to be successful, do what these guys do best, and start to really focus in on those things, and maybe not ask them to do some things that they're not doing at a high level right now, and only have those guys do what they're truly doing best. And that's on us as coaches too.
When do you think you might get Wyatt in the rotation, and what's your plans for him when he can play?
Yeah, Wyatt is gotten better in terms of more comfort level over the last probably week or so, getting on the show team. I think we'll be able to get him some more reps this week and see what that looks like. Obviously, still have to see if Hainsey's going to be able to go inside there, which obviously dictates a little bit more, and see where Wyatt fits in best, helping us at guard or tackle. I do think that we can get him going a little bit this week during the week of practice, not just on the show team, get him some quality reps with the unit and see how he can help us going into this weekend. But it was a bummer when he got banged up because he was playing at a high level and he was doing some really good things. We got to get him going again, which I do think is kind of this week.
How do you assess that game by the defense where you make some key stops, but there are also some really big explosives on the other side of it?
Well, that's the key. If we let the ball get thrown over our heads a few times, that's a tough world if you let up 2 60-yarders. And then I will say this, Seattle did a great job of calling their shots against the exact coverages that you would want those plays to be drawn up in. tough one on obviously the post that went, but they hit us on a couple overs. To Cup and one in JSN on the over versus 3 deep got us. We stopped the run the way we wanted to. We won 3rd down. Played stout in the red area on the 1 3rd down where they ran it, and we got it made them kick a field goal. We did some really good things, but ultimately those big plays, man, they're killing us. And so we've got to eliminate those plays, whether it's with the play call, whether it's with the execution of the play call, and understanding maybe what's the shot zone, when are they going to call these shots, and how can we help them from a coverage standpoint. But that's the Achilles heel over the last 2 weeks has been the big plays.
So when you guys aren't sending pressure moving forward, where do you think you guys have to maybe improve that moving forward?
We gotta get them a little bit more pressure. Now, here's the deal: is their pass game when it was in the shotgun, or if you were to say drop back, ball's coming out. When they took those shots, those were 7-man max pros, where both tight ends are staying in. You got the back on a hard ball play action. We got hit on 2-man routes a lot yesterday, right? Whether it was the post overs, whether it was this, or whether it was that, we got hit on some 2-man routes where the corners are out there one-on-one. And so we have got to make sure we're doing a nice job of mixing up where our cloud is to be able to not let the offense get a beat on where the cloud is going to be, and so they can't pick on the quarter side, if you will. And so it is hard to create a 4-man rush versus max pro. So that is always a challenge. We've got to look at as a defensive staff, all right, where can we maybe create some more pressure? How can we help them create some more pressure, whether it's with personnel or whether it's with pressure?
A couple more. To be more decisive. You want him to be more decisive with throws.
I think there's definitely a handful of throws that he can look at and say, I either need to take what it is right there in terms of my first or second read, or okay, my first read is not open, maybe pre-snap or as I'm accepting the ball. How can I quickly move on from that read, especially with the pockets? It was a dirty pocket day, and that was the reality. And we've protected at a really high level up until this past Sunday. So I think that's a balance of him now, obviously seeing how that went yesterday, that if number 1 or 2 is open in the read, we've got to make sure we're getting the ball on time and in rhythm. And then on the flip side of it is, if it's a pure progression read where pre-snap, man, that doesn't look too good over here, or as I accept the ball, it's muddy, how quickly can I move on to play on time and in rhythm within the pocket, because that does have to do with the protection, right? The quarterback has a responsibility to be able to progress and have decisions, timing, and accuracy. So there's a handful. I thought he did some really good things as well, made some great plays off schedule, did some really good things, but we got to help him out as well with some of the releases. We got to be better on the perimeter. They had a good plan. They played a lot of cloud coverage, and they were able to rush us with some 4-man rush and get after us.
Brian, and then we'll wrap.
When you first started working for McVay, was there a project he gave you or a coaching point he gave you that said, I've never thought about that, but also, hey, this guy's really going to help my progress as a coach?
That's a damn good question. I think the project that I was responsible for so long was the pass drawings. So I did all the pass drawings for 3 years while I was an assistant position coach there. That opportunity gave me an access to Sean that not maybe every single coach on the staff had, because when you're responsible to draw the passes, you got to hear it from his mouth in terms of the details, the precision, the yardage, the depth, the why. You're getting an inside look at the why behind every pass play. And I think that's probably what maybe helped me the most of anything that I was able to do there, was the little finite details that go into just one play, one pass play, that we all run smash, right? Everybody runs curl flat. Everybody runs these plays, but the detail in which I learned it from him because of my access to working with him. I wasn't saying anything really. I mean, I'm just sitting in there. He's teaching, he's coaching, he's up on the whiteboard. He's showing me clips and film examples so that I can, draw those plays, but also then pull clips of those plays to show, the coaches and the players. So I think it was more so that overall opportunity that I had. Now, it's not a fun job always you're down on the clock, rushing into meetings at 9 a.m. with past drawings you just finished up, and it's a process. But I think that definitely, that whole opportunity to be able to draw, so much you talk about to young coaches, like learn Visio, learn how to draw. If you can draw, you may always have a job. And that opportunity was always really cool for me.
Someone drawing for you?
What's that?
Do you have someone drawing for you?
Tyler Tettleton draws, yeah.
Leaving for London early, can you talk about the decision to do that? I guess some of the guys look at it as like a team bonding kind of experience. The team's going to be together for a week.
Yeah.
You see that same way?
I do. We've done it both ways. Like, I've done it both ways, going out early or staying on this time zone, obviously, and then leaving as late as kind of possible. It was just something that when we talked about in the off season, that this could be a possible opportunity for a new everything to maybe be together for an extended period of time. It just so happens, I told the team that what a perfect time for this to come up, that we're coming off of a tough loss and we've got to face a little adversity as a team. Well, now we're together for an extended period of time in a new setting, in a different place. Obviously, this organization has had a lot of familiarity with making this trip, and I think our ops, travel, everybody that is involved in it is, really gets it. They just get it. They know how to do this trip. So that gave me a lot of confidence to be able to move and say, look, let's go early and let's dive into this thing, get acclimated to the weather, to the fields, to all that stuff, knowing that, man, the field may be a little bit different than what we've been playing in every day here, the weather, the conditions, just the being out there. That was what really went into it, was just try to give these guys, I talked to some of the players in the off season about what they actually liked as well, and it weighed into it. And we tried to make the best decision. We did all the pros and cons from a sports science standpoint. We dove into it. And at the end of the day, I thought it was just a great opportunity for our team to be together and to see if we could, right before the bye, where you're not going to see each other for very long. We just thought it was a great op to get together, to dive into each other. And I do think it came at the perfect time.
Coach, thank you.
Great.
Liam, thank you.